Welcome to the Family First Retirement Podcast with George Politarhos. For more information, visit betrayawealth.com. Now, let's get to the show.
George, can I just throw something at you here this weekend?
Sure.
You good with that? See, every weekend, we have a pre-show conversation. We found some good articles, some good information that's going to help the community. But this weekend, I want to continue the conversation about some of the biggest myths and misconceptions in retirement. And I gave George no time to prepare his thoughts on this because I know you deal with this every single week. He hates it when I do this.
Exactly right.
He hates it when I do this because I just throw him out there. But this is why you have won awards. The Business Rate Best of 2025 Financial Consultant. So that's why you're good.
Thank you so much.
That's why I'm not worried about you, George. So let's start with it. Biggest myths and misconceptions in retirement. Social Security is going broke, George. So I should just take it as soon as possible. How is that a misconception?
If you take it too early, you're going to have some penalties against you if you're still working. There's earning limitations if you take Social Security prior to your full retirement age. It doesn't mix right for everybody. My personal thoughts have changed in the last 10 years. Before, I was going to take Social Security for myself, talking about George, at age 70. Because Leslie had longevity. She has that long lifestyle. And obviously, we don't get to keep both our Social Securities. So I was going to wait till 70, max it out all the way, get all the bonuses I could. And then when I died, Leslie would get a raise from when she took it at 61, 62, and at 62. Because she retired. We have changed our train of thought. Leslie, even though she retired, is now the Chief Cultural Officer for Politarhos Wealth. So she's working here. And she's not taking Social Security at 62. She's waiting because she's still earning substantial income. I'm turning mine on at 67, my full retirement age. And why? Because I don't need the money at that stage. We won't. But I'm going to use their money to do more investing for us. So choosing Social Security at 62 really needs a plan. You can't make too much money, and you just can't jump and do something. There should be no jerk knee reaction, folks.
Yeah. Come
into the office here at 501 Silverside. Let's talk about it together. Let's see what works best for you. Call me, 302-330-2166, and we'll get you the right answers to be in the right place for your situation.
When you say Chief Culture Officer, is that just basically saying the head of the party planning committee?
It is. It is. Yes, it is. You get to come in, you get to meet Leslie and Jared and Achilles and Mateus and the team here. And Leslie, I always, my name's on the thing as the founder and president of Politarhos Wealth Group.
Yes, sir.
I am a peon. I have my son, Jared. When you call folks, you'll speak with Jared. And Jared is truly the boss.
Yeah.
And then Leslie comes in. And it's funny, Mark. Quick story.
Sure.
I wanted to redo my personal office. And I said, I have some cool pictures, a lot of cool pictures of the family. I want something like, something that's about George. I said, I want some fun stuff. And they both looked at me and said, you're not fun, so what do you want us to put up there? I'm like, geez, Louise.
Oh, too much.
Thank you, guys.
Wow.
It's just brutal. Where's the love?
I'm always reminding you that it's family. It's what it is. That's what family
exactly
does.
What it is.
That's
family
it.
Gets to be brutal with you. Yes, it is.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of Jared, he who runs the place at the Politarhos Wealth Group, we invite you to give the team a follow on social media, especially on Facebook. Just put a search on it. Politarhos Wealth, P-A-T-R-I-A, Politarhos Wealth. Jared does an unbelievable job every single week, almost every single day, with updated information and graphics and tips and just guidance, and it's so easy to follow. Like, I know, because George, I learn a lot from you every weekend here on Family First Retirement. I'm not in your industry. We just get to play radio together. But from what Jared puts out there, I can follow it. I can understand it. That means he writes it. So us adults getting close to retirement, we can understand what you're talking about. Some of the stuff that we talk about every weekend here.
One of the things we talk about, and I'm really proud of, is when we have our seminars, for example, I truly believe we need to talk like we're in fourth grade.
Yeah.
Keep it real simple.
And that's not talking down to people. It's just a lot of the stuff. And I'm guilty of this too. A lot of it just kind of, once you start getting like really heavy into the numbers, it's like I'm back in high school sitting in Spanish 2. Just, all right, whatever.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I talk with Ernie, and Ernie comes and we have a seminar, for example. I do the retirement part, and we have about 10 minutes, 7 to 10 minutes for taxes, because you only have a limited amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And I've told Ernie, and Ernie is so intelligent about this stuff. I know what he's going to say, folks, and I look around, all of a sudden the butterflies are dancing in my head, 'cause I have no clue what he's saying. So we have had that conversation. You got to talk like I'm in first grade, fifth grade. And that's what really I think I'm proudest about. People come in. Have you ever been to a seminar or talked to your doctor or lawyer, Mark?
Shoot.
And you fell. And you go to the doctor, and he's touching your ankle. He's doing this, took x-rays and MRIs and all that stuff. And he says that you have a rotary disc belly body. I have no idea what he just said. And I said, just talk to me like I'm an idiot or a first grader.
Yeah.
And he says, you sprained your ankle. Well, why the heck couldn't you just tell me I sprained my ankle?
You know why? Because he went to college for 8 years to be able to say rotary disc belly boo.
That's exactly right. They want to tell you how smart they are.
Yeah.
I'd rather, instead of you telling me something, you just lay it out and show me how it's going to work for me and benefit me. Keep it simple. Retirement simplified.
Yep.
Taking the gray out of it and making it black and white. And that's what we're going to do when we sit down. Whether it's your Social Security myth or the other myths we're going to talk about, let's get the noise out of the way. Let's talk black and white and see where we're going to be.
Let's get back to it. Some of the biggest myths and misconceptions in retirement. Hey, George, healthcare, it's really only going to cost me, I don't know, about $100,000. I'll be okay with that.
Poppycock.
Yeah.
Healthcare is a major concern for us. There are so many different options available. And ladies, you do have a higher number than men do, obviously for a couple of reasons. But the biggest one is you live longer.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be, we talk about people when we look at planning and a couple that's the same age and the same health. If everything's equal in that way, the female will outlive the male 6 to 8 years. So do you think your medical costs are going to be higher or lower than the men?
Higher.
Correct. And insurance costs in this country have gone up dramatically in the last 20 years. We know that. When you get to retirement age, Medicare, Part A, you got to sign up for it at 65. It's free. There's no cost for it, hospitalization. Part B, if you're not working, you have to sign up for it at age 65. Right now, the basis is $202.30 per month. You still need a Medicare Advantage. You still need either a supplement plan to go with that, and that's something we can help you with. Look at the pros and cons. The Medicare costs and health insurance costs are only going to escalate and go up, along with that long-term care that people sometimes don't want to talk about. But that fallacy of $100,000, folks, if you're playing on, what's that show on TV, Price is Right?
Yeah.
You're way under.
Yeah.
You don't got to worry about doing it. You're way under.
Showcase,
so we'll help you look at those numbers. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And it's the things you don't think about, too, like assisted living or memory care or long-term care. It's all those little, right now we think, and I say we, I think I'm Iron Man, Yeah, my back hurts every now and then. I get a headache every now and then. Well, I'm living my best life because in about 15 years, it's going to start going downhill.
You work in the yard. We're doing work in the yard.
Yep.
And Leslie's like, this. I said, I got it. How hard can it be? I'll lift this up. And I do it then because I think I'm 35. And I get to, after that, you sit down, take a shower, you sit down. I'm like, oh, my God, my back is killing me. This is killing me. I wake up in the morning, I'm still sore. We may think we're 35. In reality, we're 60. Mm-hmm. It adds up to your body. And that medical cost is one of the things we're going to be concerned about going forward, too.
That's right. Another big misconception in retirement. George, I can always just work a few more years if I need to. If I need supplemental income, some extra income, I'll just keep working. Not so fast.
There comes a time when either, that sounds good on paper, but there's always a time when either someone tells you can't do it anymore or your body tells you can't do it anymore. I think we worked really hard. People work about 90,000 hours during their careers to get to the point of retirement, give or take. You're not promised tomorrow. If you want to do a part-time job after you retire, something to keep you out of your spouse's hair, I get that. But to sit there and work 3 more years at a job you may not like or you physically can't do anymore because you just want to have some extra money, that's what this planning process is about, Mark. That's why when you come into Portrayal Wealth at 501 Silverside Road, we'll go over that. Let's get the answers. Because we just said nothing's guaranteed. Nothing's promised beyond today. Mm-hmm. Let's take and how many people do you know, folks? Let's think about this for a second. They're going to work. I'm going to work next year. I'm going to retire next year. You can retire. Yeah, I'm going to retire next year. Give it another year. I got to pay off this or that. And they don't make it. The heart attack happens.
Yeah.
The accident happens. They can't enjoy their retirement because of some physicality or memory issue. Let's enjoy what we have. Let me help you get to that point. Call me at 302-330-2166. Let's see how we can make it work for you. Life's too short to be unhappy or not able to enjoy what you worked for.
That's right.
Let me help you get to where you need to be.
The misconception was I can always just work a few more years if I need to. George wants to make that so you can say, I can just work a few more years if I want to.
Want to.
Not because I need to, because I want to.
There's a big difference between needs and want.
I need a roof over my head. I need food for my family. I want to be a smaller waist size, but I don't know if that's
definitely not happening.
Like honey mustard, way too much. 302-330-2166, PatriaWealth.com, PATRIA Wealth.com. All right, here's a good one, myth and misconception in retirement. We were talking about Social Security a couple of seconds ago, but George, my 401k, that's all the retirement plan I really need for income.
Not really. Let's think about this. What happens when you have a 401k? You keep it in there in that red zone, right? And I say that red line because it's the ebb and flow of the stock market. Mm-hmm. And there's a rule out there, Mark, called the 4% rule. What that states is that if I take 4% of my retirement account out every year, that should be enough money to last for the rest of my lifetime. The problem, that was done about 25 years ago, 30 years ago, that came up. Today's number is closer to 2.5%. Is what you can pull out to let that money go due to inflation and things of that sort. We'll just stick with 4%, though. Easy math. So your account is $500,000. You pull out 4% every year. What happens when, A, there's a correction in the market and it only grows 2%? Is the number still the same? The answer is no. But you still pull the set number out. So we take a 4% out of that $500,000 and it's $20,000 a year. Well, what happens if the market goes down? And it's a negative 10, 12, 15% in the market. Do you still take 4% out? If you do, is it still the same amount of money? If you do, you take out the set number of 20,000. Am I double dipping my loss? That's a lot of things to think about. A lot of work to do. A lot of estimations. We talk about how having a guaranteed payment, like a paycheck, like you had when you worked, gives people a longer, happier life in retirement, peace of mind.
Yeah.
A lot of times we talk about having an annuity to give you that. And I'll give you an example. I have a client, his name is Jeff. Jeff does not have a pension. He had his 401k. And folks, most people today, only about 40%, 4 out of 10, have a pension, other than if we're counting in the federal employees and the state employees and union people, about 4 out of 10. And Jeff doesn't, but he saved about $500,000 in the 401k. He put it and let it grow over time. And his first year, he's taken a 4% rule, getting $32,000 a year for him, not counting for his wife. What we did for Jeff was put $500,000 into a fixed index annuity, both him and his wife, and our build up to the time he's ready to turn that income on, we're less money. We're not 820, we're like 738 or something. The payout percentage is 6.78%. Do you want 4% pullout, Mark, or 6.78?
Well, I'll take 6%.
Whoa, there you go, 6.78. You like the bigger number.
Yeah, how could you not?
For him and his wife, when they turn that money on, they're getting $49,700, $50,000 it's called, guaranteed for the rest of their life. Think about that. I don't care if the world goes to heck in a handbag. I don't care if the market goes down 5% or 10%. I'll never have less than that neither of us can outlive. That's about the safety you need to think about and how you have to start changing your mindset. How nice is it to know the 1st of the month, the 15th of the month, my check for $4,000, whatever that math comes out to be, is there every month. And then you have Social Security. Great. Between those two things, you're probably making more than you're making when you're working.
Yeah.
Probably. Or darn close to it at least. But it's peace of mind. And that's what we do to help you. So to answer your question, about just having money in the stock market, Mark? No.
Nope.
It's diversification, asset allocation, and having better choices and more guarantees.
Always thinking about income and retirement. 302-330-2166.
Show me the money.
What movie is that from? And go. Tom Cruise. Cuba Gooding
Tom
Jr.
Cruise.
Yep, but what movie? It's a first name, last name. He's a sports agent.
Moneyball.
No, close, though. You're on the right category. You're in the sports section.
Football players.
Jerry Maguire.
Jerry Maguire, that's it.
You complete me, George. You complete. 302-330-2166. BetrayalWealth.com to meet George and the entire team from the
I'm not wasting time watching movies.
I know, always working. You want to have a lot of pop culture references, but he'll understand building income and retirement. That's George Politarhos. We will be talking like baseball or something. Be like, did you see what the Braves did, or you see what the Phillies doing? And he'll be like, I didn't watch it. No, I was working this weekend. I was like, all right, good talk there, buddy. But you know what? I'm okay with that. I want that from the guy building my retirement plan. Hey, here's another one as we're talking myths and misconceptions. When I call that number, 302-330-2166, when I reach out at betrayalwealth.com, I schedule that consultation. I understand it. I'm really not going to meet George. This is a show that runs up and down the East Coast. He's in one of his 15 different offices. George is just the face of Betrayal Wealth. So I'm probably just going to meet a sub-advisor or somebody I've never heard of. That's a myth. That's a misconception, George Politarhos.
Absolutely not. We service the family place we live in. We're here in Wilmington. We're serving South Jersey, Southeast Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware. When you call, you come in, you're meeting with me. That's the way this family went. Now, I'm not a single person. I have a team. But you're going to meet with me. We're going to go through this together. You're going to meet the team. You're going to know who Jared is. You're going to know who Achilles is, Leslie is, Ernie is, Mateus. They're going to know all about you. But you're working with me. I'm here to make sure that you're taken care of, hold your hand, get you from everything we need to do, understand how we're going to go forward, and be in the right place. Mark, one of the problems that people have, pick those big box firms, Stanley Morgan, JP, you name them, Ameritrade. They sit there and they give you the agent or the person of the month flavor. They pass you around. You're talking with someone that you don't talk to. Once a year, maybe they call you. And when you call in for a question, they ask for what your employee ID or your customer ID number is. Then they pass you on to someone else who's never saw you, spoken to you, knows your situation, because that person has moved on or become too big to deal with you.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that's not the way it is here at Betrayal Wealth Group. When you come here, you and I are going to sit down over a good cup of coffee or a glass of water and go through what your wants, needs, and desires are, what your concerns are. What's confusing you? What's the cost for me to retire? How much does it cost me to retire? Can I afford to retire? We're going to look at the numbers and make sure it makes sense. That retirement part, that dealing with an agent that you don't know, is gray, confusing. When you work with me and my team at Betrayal Wealth, you're meeting with me. The black and white story is what we're going to give you because you're the most important thing to me and my family.
That's right.
So definitely not the case here.
One more for you as we're talking about the biggest myths and misconceptions in retirement. And I don't know, George, I feel like this is kind of a half myth. It's one of those that say, the people that say, listen, I really don't need a full written plan. I'll kind of do 75% DIY, and then I'll reach out to somebody to do the other 25%. Okay? Tell me where I'm wrong here.
Are you an idiot? That's stupid. Anything that's on the internet must be true.
Right.
We know that. Right? Because pigs fly.
Right.
But it's the fallacy. You want to learn how to change your oil? Great. Do a DIY. You want to learn how to get that raised garden bed in your backyard? Do you put paper or cardboard down, then weeds and trees and all that? Great. Do DIY. When you talk about something that's going to last the rest of your life and your family's life and how your legacy is going to be passed on, get off the computer and come speak to me and my team here at Betrayal Wealth. This is not something you can fix. Folks, did you ever fall and break your arm? Look on the computer how to fix it, DIY and how to reset it.
Yeah.
Stop. Certain things are good. Certain things you don't play with. Having my wife, my sons, my daughters, my grandchildren be in the best place possible for our next 20, 30, 90,000 hours is not a DIY. Call me at 302-330-2166. We'll go over that and explain to you the difference. If you don't think you saved enough that you can do DIY, try and make yourself feel better and get away, you're fooling yourself.
Yeah.
If you save $200,000, $300,000, $500,000, you don't think it's enough because you have a unicorn number you keep hearing about, You've done a great job. You've worked really hard for that $200,000, $300,000, $500,000, just as hard as the guy that has $1, $2, $3, $4 million. We're going to treat you the same way. We're going to give you the education, the information, and knowledge to make the right choice going forward. 302-330-2166.
Insurance and annuities offered through George A. Politarhos, Delaware Insurance License Number 1373121. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties.